and welcome, I'm Sarah and this is my creative channel, redrockingbird. I absolutely love to craft and create, and here on this channel I share those ideas with you. I don't have my air dry clay with me today, but I have a plastic straw which we're able to reuse, and I have some plasticine and I'm going to do some resin art. UV resin and epoxy resin are two craft items I've been using a lot lately and I'm really enjoying the process. From the resin I'm going to create some tools and some pens. I love to illustrate, and so I'm going to add some nib pens to the first ones of these and create some really lovely nib pens. The straw will act as my resin mould. I cut the plastic straw down the middle so I'm able to use this over and over again, taping the straw back up with a piece of sellotape. The green ball that you saw me moulding earlier is just a piece of plasticine, but you could use blue tack or probably some air dry clay as well. I'm using the plasticine as my bung for the end of the straw. Along with crafting, another passion of mine is illustration, and I use a lot of pen and inks and use these little nibs in my nib pen. But I thought, why don't I try and recreate the dip pen holder that can actually be really quite expensive, and I'm sure I can recreate them in a fun way. Don't worry if you don't use nib pens, I'll show you some uses for this technique as well. First of all, I add a little bit of UV resin onto the non-usable end of the nib, add a few little sequins or something of your choice, and then put this under the lamp to set the UV resin and to let it cure this way. Then I take the UV resin and start to fill the straw mould. I like to use UV resin as it really speeds up the process, and I do like to do things a bit speedy sometimes. I add in some gold stars and then a little more resin to help them flow down into the tube. Now adding in some gold glitter, and you really can add anything of your choice. Adding some dried flowers would be really lovely as well, and so what I'm doing is filling up that tube. But be super careful not to agitate that plasticine at the bottom like I did here, and it came a little unstuck and I had a bit of a spillage, but not to worry. I filled the straw up almost to the top so I still had space to put the nib pen in, and then I'm going to set it. My spillage there I will also set and I'll be able to peel it off. Do make sure that you protect all your surfaces as it can be a little bit messy as I demonstrated there. Make sure you're in a well ventilated space and also wear some gloves. The resin in the tube is now cured and I can add a little bit more of the decorations into there, top up with the rest of the resin and hold the nib in place. Then as I hold it in place, I just cure it with the lamp again. Once fully cured with the lamp, which doesn't take many minutes, we're ready to demould. If you pre-cut the straw as I did earlier, it makes it really easy to take it out, and it means that we can use this straw yet again. And I'm really thrilled with how it's turned out, but I have a few more tricks to make it even better. So next time you're thinking of a project and you think, I don't have a mould for that, there are quite often other solutions. I showed my son the pen and straight away he wanted to join in and make one for himself. As he doesn't use dip pens, we went and found a normal biro and we took the pen out of the barrel, and that's what we're using here. He chose some bright colours and we filled the same straw yet again, and here he is inserting it into the UV resin. Please do make sure you wear gloves though. The pen fits in really quite nicely. We've topped up with UV resin and added more glitter into the barrel, and then he can demould, and he's really pleased that he's just been able to make this. With my air dry clay I like to be able to score the clay quite a bit, and so here I've put 5 little pins together, attached them with a piece of plasticine and inserted these into the resin just as we did with the nib pen. I also did a barrel for a brush that had also broken. The colour choices for these are absolutely endless. These are mica powders and you can add these to the resin and then pour them into our new moulds. I said earlier that I was going to make my dip pen even better, and I am going to do that, and what I'm going to do is give it more shape, and so I can really squeeze one end of the straw and then tape it with this squeezed end, and then I get a much more elegant barrel shape. I did this and repeated the process, and look how beautiful this is. I can't wait to get using these for my illustrations, and I can't tell you, I'm going to make so many more of these. They're fantastic. When curling that straw that little bit more, a little excess resin gets into the extra bit of the straw, but that is easy to remove, and also if you have any imperfections with the resin, you can go in with your files and then some fine sandpaper. As I said, I'll put all of the links of all the items I've used in the description below the video. I love coming up with new ways of doing things and finding items around my home and being able to use those in our creative projects. If you enjoy my videos, please do subscribe and hit the thumbs up too. I also love it when you comment, and I try to reply to as many of these as possible. I love these, I really do, and all from a bit of resin and a straw. I hope this has given you some inspiration and you go on to enjoy some creative projects. Over on Instagram, I'm redrockingbird, and for my illustration, illustration_Sarah. Please come over and say hi on both. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next creative video.